You know that feeling, right? When you hear a story that's so wild, so out there, you just think, no way, that can't be true. Well, get ready because today we're going to look at some facts that prove reality is often way, way weirder than anything we could ever dream up. All right, let's just dive right in. So, I'm just going to ask you flat out, is the real world actually weirder than fiction? I have a feeling that by the end of this, you're going to have a pretty solid answer. Think of this as us opening up a kind of cabinet of curiosities. And trust me, some of this stuff is going to make you question, well, pretty much everything.
So first up, the Roman Empire. You know, we always picture them as these super smart engineers, these deep philosophers, but their day-to-day habits? Let's just say they had some pretty unique solutions for everyday life.
So how did they get those famous togas so sparkling white? Well, believe it or not, Roman laundries used aged urine. Yeah, turns out the ammonia in it is a fantastic bleaching agent. And get this, it was so valuable that the Emperor Vespasian actually started taxing public urinals. A pee tax. Wild.
Okay, but just when you think you've wrapped your head around laundry pee, take a look at this. Yeah, you are reading that correctly. They didn't just wash their clothes with it, they used it as mouthwash. The thinking was that the same ammonia that whitened their togas could whiten their teeth. You know what? I think I'll stick with mint, thank you very much.
And hey, if urine mouthwash wasn't your thing, don't worry. They had other options. For toothpaste, a pretty popular ingredient was, wait for it, crushed mouse brains. Yep, a paste made from mouse brains. The mind just, it boggles, doesn't it?
All right, so to top off the whole look, white teeth, clean toga, blonde hair was super fashionable for Roman guys. And their secret ingredient for getting that perfect blonde look? Pigeon droppings. I mean, you gotta hand it to them, their commitment to style was something else. Okay, let's close that drawer and open up the next one.
All right, let's leave Roman hygiene in the past and turn to the animal kingdom, because this is where things get seriously strange, not just with the animals themselves, but in our own weird history with them.
We all know the ancient Egyptians loved their cats, but this just shows how much. They considered them sacred. So sacred, in fact, that when a family's cat passed away, the entire household would shave off their eyebrows. It was a very real, very public way to show just how heartbroken they were. Okay, so we're going from the sacred to the slightly less dignified. Let's talk about lobsters. Did you know they have these little nozzles right under their eyes, and they use them to pee in each other's faces? That's actually how they communicate. It's how they handle fights, how they find a mate. It's a whole different kind of social media, I guess. Here's a quick one that's kinda eerie. A chameleon's skin, the cells that change color, they can actually keep reacting to light and heat for a little while even after the chameleon has died. So it's like this one last final light show. It's fascinating, but also a little haunting, right? But look, the award for the absolute wildest animal story has to go to Australia. I'm talking about the Great Emu War. Seriously. In 1932, about 20,000 emus were wrecking farmland, so the government sent in the military with machine guns. The problem? The emus were basically tactical geniuses. They'd split into small groups, run in zigzags. They were impossible to hit. The soldiers fired 10,000 rounds of ammo and barely made a dent. In the end, the army just gave up. They withdrew. The emus literally won the war. All right, for our last section, we're diving into some moments from history that are so surreal, they just sound completely made up. Seriously, buckle up for these. Okay, picture a snowflake. You're probably thinking of something tiny, delicate, right? Something that melts on your tongue. But what if I told you the largest snowflake ever recorded was the size of a frisbee? No, I'm not kidding. It's totally true. Back in 1887, a rancher out in Montana reported seeing snowflakes that were, and this is a direct quote, larger than milk pans, 15 inches wide. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. Can you even imagine that floating down from the sky? But history can get so much stranger. This might be one of the most bizarre legal cases of all time. See, back in the Middle Ages, their justice system was different. So different that animals could actually be put on trial for crimes. Which brings us to France in 1386, where a pig was put on trial for murder. I'm talking a full-blown legal proceeding with a judge, witnesses, even lawyers for the pig. But here's the detail. The one thing that makes this story absolutely unforgettable. After the pig was found guilty, It was sentenced to death. And for the public execution, they dressed it in human clothes. A little waistcoat, trousers, the whole thing. The idea was to show that the animal was being held to human laws. It's just, what an incredible glimpse into a world that is completely alien to us now.
So let's just do a quick recap here. We've learned that an army with machine guns lost a war to birds, that the ancient Romans used pee as mouthwash, and that a pig was tried, convicted, and then executed for murder while wearing people clothes. Yeah, the real world is a weird, weird place.
And that kind of brings us to the final thought, doesn't it? I mean, these are just a few of the bizarre truths that somebody happened to write down. It really makes you wonder, if this is the weird history we know about, what other unbelievable, unimaginable stories are still out there, just waiting for us to